Matt Argyris for DC Clothesline reports that there is no question that the United States has been dangerously rattling the saber in Russia's direction. From deploying battleships off their coast to conducting record-breaking war games in the region, there is no doubt the U.S. is painting Russia as an enemy. Now, however, we have even more glaring proof of the U.S. government's intentions. Hacked private emails of the U.S. general formerly in charge of NATO show a deliberate attempt to provoke conflict with Russia. The emails posted by site DC Leaks show correspondence between General Philip M. Breedlove, former head of the U.S. European Command and Supreme Commander of NATO forces, with several establishment insiders concerning the situation in Ukraine following the 2014 coup that ousted the elected government in favor of a U.S.-backed regime. The communications are nothing short of Breedlove seeking advice on how to essentially start World War III. The Russians referred to last month as the Summer of Provocation and called the NATO war games a move to reignite the Cold War, intended to force Moscow to starve its domestic economy, to ramp up its military to meet a growing external threat. Folks, if you have just tuned in, you know, and if you've watched any of Gary's reports at the Next News Network around the military buildup around Russia, you have seen countless videos, countless reports of NATO forces aligned with the United States, piling up military vehicles, armaments in all the surrounding countries at the Russian border. And then you have communication like this we find where this general is basically, discussing this even further, provoking Russia. This is not a good idea. We are living in the craziest of times. And the thing is this, is that Russia is not just, some little country that has, 3 little ships and, 1,000 soldiers. I mean, Russia is a nuclear power. And when you start provoking and you start running down this line of behavior where you are we're acting as an instigator in this case. I mean, what is the deal? It's just not a good idea. And why are they doing this?
With regard to Russia, the myth that's being spun right now is that the United States has no blame for what Mr. Putin did with regard to Crimea and now writ larger Ukraine. No blame whatsoever, when the United States is almost completely, in a geostrategic sense, to blame. Let's just go back and let's do the history. As we were accomplishing, and I was in this administration too, H.W. Bush's administration, Bush 1 we call it, and during this time, we were negotiating the end of the Cold War. And what Jim Baker told Edward Shevardnadze, who was then the foreign minister for Gorbachev, was that NATO would not move 1 inch further to the east. That NATO would not move 1 inch further to the east. Well, what did Bill Clinton do? He marched NATO all the way to Georgia and arguably Ukraine. So it's clear in geostrategic terms why Mr. Putin reacted. In the case of the United States right now, the media, such as it is corporate media. It's owned by corporations. And when you listen to the media, the mainstream media, what you're listening to, however subliminally some of it is, is corporations telling you, first, to buy their products, second, that they're innocent of any injustices, and that they're wonderful people and they're not really running our government, which in fact they are running our government.
You're saying that it's not even that the state controls the corporations that control the media. It's the corporations that control the state and the media.
Often, yeah, I'd say often in complicity with the state, when it's in their interest to be in complicity with the state. We are today a plutocracy. We are an oligarchy, of course, is a Greek term for a leadership that's composed of a select group of people, a select elite. Mm-hmm. A plutocracy is a unique oligarchy. It's where that select group of elite are the richest people. Mm-hmm. That's what we have in this country.